For this project, I needed to make a short film with a plot, so I decided to make a film about my mate Eamon. Eamon has been my best friend since I was 17. We're both musicians based in Derry and have been playing together and separately for over 10 years. Aside from music, the thing that has probably played the biggest part in our friendship is alcohol. In the last few years, Eamon has had to come to terms with his addiction to alcohol and has made me think about our relationship to alcohol and the impact of the drinking culture in the UK and Ireland on our friendship and our lives. I interviewed Eamon about his journey with sobriety in the last few years, and the last year in particular. Here he is.
So I first started drinking, I would say, probably around the age of 17. And it would have just been going up the walls with my mates on a Friday or Saturday evening. Sometimes both nights. Just got a ween of beers, and we would have just hung out and drank up there, like any teenager would have done back in the day, I started to notice my drinking became more serious, I think, when I had to start having a drink in the morning when I got up to get me through the day. That's when I noticed that my drinking got kind of a bit out of control, thinking that I needed a drink in order to get through the day, was when I noticed that there was a problem. I lost count the amount of times that I tried to stop. There's instances where I would try and it would go a couple of days without having the drink, but then the anxiety would just start to well up in me, and and the only cure that I thought that I had at the time was to get another drink, So it's hard to remember what kind of headspace I was in those months leading up to before I went into hospital, because I was essentially in a perpetual state of drunkenness, and I don't know, I can't really remember what my head was going through. I think that my stay in hospital, or what happened to me, what landed me in hospital, I really can't really remember too much before it, because I was probably in such a bad way at the time, but it was just terrible. It was the worst imaginable thing ever. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. The things that was going through my head that made me think that I needed a drink was I was just dealing with really bad anxiety and depression. But I think that at the same time was fueled by the drinking, so it was sort of cyclical, if you will. It was like I was drinking in order to feel better, and then ultimately it was making my anxiety and my depression worse. And then the worse the anxiety and depression got, the more I had to drink in order to kind of block it out. So it was a gradual thing, Addiction, I suppose, is more to do with a fragmentation of your mental state. Something's wrong in your head, and I think that you become addicted to something, and alcohol is a short-term solution to a long-term problem. And I wouldn't want to say that it's the culture, but I do increasingly find, more so being sober, that we're kind of proliferated with ads for alcohol. It's the only thing you see. The shop across the street from me has 4 billboards outside it, and 3 out of the 4 is just price drops on alcohol, and it's all you seem to see. So it almost feels like sometimes they're pushing it on you. Do you know what I mean? Here's the answer to all your problems. That's kind of the way I look at it too. So it's not so much our culture as as people. It's more to do, I think, with the industry pushing it on people, if you know what I mean. If you're depressed, there's alcohol. I would say alcohol is the most dangerous thing going at the minute. People don't realize how dangerous it really is, but it's scarily dangerous. Because people just see a drunk person in the street and they walk past and they don't pay any attention or pay any heed, and they just say, oh well, they obviously just, you need to try better and stuff like that, and they don't realize how hard it is. When you're stuck in a cycle when you're fighting anxiety, depression, and alcoholism, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place and another harder place. You don't know where to go. And and nobody wants to help you because people don't know how to deal with it, and they don't know how to help, and they don't know. It's not that they don't want to help; it's they don't know how to approach it. I think, you know, and they all that people can do is say just stop drinking, and it's not as simple as that. Like, you know, I was lying in my bed, and I think it was around about start of December last year, and I was like, right, I need to pull the finger out now and just get stuck into my music, like. And from then on, I was just like, right, I'm gonna just kick it into gear, like, and took the songs that I had recorded earlier in the year, the instrumental pieces, and wrote lyrics and put words to them. And by January time, I think I had a 3-song EP sort of finished and pushed to get that there out into the world. And I was able to get myself new recording gear and just really focus on working on my album and making videos and starting a YouTube channel. And you know, I've it's shocking how much I've been able to fit into a year. You know, whenever you take alcohol out of the equation, it's crazy, like, you know.